I did, man. I did.
That's some grown men. I used to see how they, cause I did track, and I see how they be doing like the wrestlers be like warming up shit. They run up down those stadiums. I was like, oh hell nah, to wrestle.
Yeah,
I'm cool. Not for me.
It was nuts, man. But y'all know who I am.
It was because you was wrestling in other men's private parts. It was nuts.
I see.
You was here all night, folks.
But I was looking fashionable in that spandex. The women like spandex.
I hear that.
That's
But
what
y'all
they
know
say.
who I am, man. Comedian Don Garrett. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Don Garrett Comedy. Twitter, comedian Don G. To the left of me, you know who it is. The 2019 comedy battle fight night winner and January resident at the Comedy Zone. Tell him who he is, brother.
Comedian Chris Mons, man. We are here. Chris Mons Comedy on Instagram. Chris_Mons on Twitter, and Comedian Chris Mons on Facebook.
That's right, man. And you can
collectively, you can find us at the PoppaDon Podcast.
That's right,
on all social media sites. We're on YouTube now, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, I think Spotify,
Black Planet.
I think Don's on was it Tinder,
Christian Mingle,
all the above.
Think of my words right, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna get it together, man. We had some crazy news.
Kobe gone, man.
Man, we had some crazy news, man.
Crazy.
But before then, we gonna get through it, man. Of course, shout out to our home station, Power 104.4 FM hashtag.
We on the streets.
And of course, shout out to our sponsor, Simply Homemade Catering.
With that good ass food.
We got a special guest in the building today, man. One of the funniest brothers here on the Charlotte comedy scene. My boy in the building. Give it up, y'all. Mr. Rick Campos.
Hey.
Welcome, brother. Welcome, brother.
Thank you.
Welcome to the PoppaDon Podcast, my man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Rick Campos, aka the Brazilian Bandit.
Hey,
there he is.
Slick Rick the Ruler.
Yes, I'll read you a children's story every night.
Knock him out the box, Rick.
Yeah.
Knock him out the box. Rick Campos, tell the people where they can find you on social media, man.
You can find me on all platforms, just Rick Campos Live.
Rick Campos Live.
Because I am better live.
Straight like
there
that.
It is.
You got to see him, man. I'd be remiss if I didn't state this, man. There's still some developments going on, but we just found out that, man, in my opinion, the GOAT, man, Kobe Bryant.
This shit don't feel real, man. Like it's two deaths that kind of hit me hard. I'm usually not really big on celebrity deaths. When Mike died, and when Kobe died, I knew exactly where I was when I heard the news.
Mike had my mom in her feelings, man. She was a huge Mike fan growing up, so I think that made everybody emotional. As far as Kobe, a lot of us, man, that was our childhood.
Pretty much. Like when you literally to this day, when you shoot, I don't care how grown you is, when you shoot a piece of trash in the trash can,
you yell it
what
out.
do you yell? Kobe. Like you don't be like LeBron, and I'm a LeBron fan. You don't be like LeBron, you be like, nah, Kobe. Yeah.
Kobe, man. It's crazy, man. For what Kobe did for the game of basketball cannot even be described in words. The way he transcended the game, and he used that as a platform to launch his other ventures with the children's stories that he was coming out with. He's won an Oscar for his short film series. His animated short film, Dear Basketball. The man is just 5-time NBA champion, multiple All-Star MVPs, you name it. He's done everything, man.
Was on the cover of an N64 basketball game.
He was.
A lot of people think
he was.
A lot of people think
N64
didn't make basketball games like that, so he was on one.
Yeah, he definitely was, man. I forgot about that.
Yep.
For what Kobe did, like just being my favorite player, like whether you loved or hated Kobe, you respected him.
It's like Mike. It's like a lot of people, like people that were Knicks fans or people that's Pacers fans, can't stand Mike, but they ain't gonna talk bad about him.
Right, exactly.
Because
they know, man. Like Kobe, I think even when he was retiring, there was that one Nike commercial with all the fans with the different jerseys, and they was like, you can't leave now. Like I'm not done hating you.
Right.
But it just shows the respect, man.
Kobe's a bad boy.
He was, man, and it more tragic, man. Rick Fox was reportedly on board.
They confirmed he won't on that.
Oh, he wasn't.
Yeah, now somebody talked to him. They said his daughter was though.
Yeah, so his daughter Gianna, man. So rest in peace, and as developments are coming out, man. We'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah.
But we were just talking about this, and being that we're comedians, I want to get y'all gauge on this as well. I logged onto Facebook, man, and unbeknownst to me, I was just seeing comedians making horrible attempts.
Not even funny. Making horrible attempts to turn this into a joke. And I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for comedy. I understand that the umbrella of comedy encompasses everything. Right.
Nothing technically is off limits.
Yeah.
However,
time and place.
It's a time and a place for everything.
Exactly.
What you think, Rick?
I was just gonna say the ones that immediately just threw jokes out there, obviously, are the ones who haven't really honed in on the craft of comedy. Because what's one of the key aspects of comedy is timing.
Timing, being funny,
tragedy.
Think about
plus
it.
Time equals comedy. It's not enough time has passed. Like just now, you can kind of still make 9/11 jokes and they still get cringy. Just to show how much time has to pass before something.
For sure.
Is, hilariously funny. And if you are going to touch it, it has to be the funniest thing out there. But going right off the bat, like 1 hour after, the event happens.
It's like throwing shit at the wall.
Exactly. Yeah. It just shows exposes a lot more about the person.
But not even that. You can tell who's on shows where they're on the flyer.
That's
and the ones that's making the jokes are the ones asking for shows.
Well, now
and not throwing shade, but it's like us three, we getting booked, we getting paid to do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
We think about shit like that.
Exactly.
So that's just my 2 cents.
It's just like man, my OG Amp said, man. Shout out to Amston Hughes, man. Amston was like, here come the unbooked open mic specialists, mofos. That's cracking the jokes and stuff. Because if you, like you said, what I noticed is that everybody that I know gets booked on a regular basis, similar to us three, and they ain't making no kind of jokes, man. Everybody's taking the time to kind of digest it because this is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot, bro. It's a lot to get hit with at one time.
Yeah.
Especially when you throw in that Gianna, his oldest daughter, man.
For
like
sure.
that.
And I got a daughter, and my daughter literally goes everywhere with me because she's my oldest child, and it's like, damn, like that kind of stung a little bit too.
Sympathy for the family and all that. And like you said earlier, like Kobe wasn't just like a basketball player. He was like a father figure to like a lot of us because like his work ethic. Like the first time I heard about him, just going before practice and shooting, it was like 3,000 shots before practice. He's the one that taught me to practice before practice. So like you said, like with Mike. Too, like there's these influences that grew up with us, but it wasn't just because their art touched us,
right?
But it was because they taught us something that that kind of made us the person we are right now. So when somebody like that was associated to what was taught to you dies, it's kind of like, damn, that person that once taught me what hard work really meant, that hard work beats talent is gone, and now it's kind of on us, kind of just to
keep the torch going.
Keep the torch going,
Yeah, it is, man. And it's crazy because like we never met the man a day in our lives, man. But
I wish I did.
I did too. I seriously do, man. I wish that I had a chance to meet him, man, because I idolize his game. And even being a kid, I remember the 2000 NBA championship game with the series with the Lakers.
The first
versus,
one.
Lakers versus the Pacers. Yeah. With the first one, and I watched that whole series with my grandma, man. And I remember her kept making comments about Shaq got a lot of money, he need to get his eyes fixed and stuff. Some of the funniest commentary I've ever heard. But I remember watching those games with my granny. Yeah. And I remember us, being Lakers fans and, looking and watching it. We also watched the series versus the Sixers the next year. And then the year after that, the series
versus... got stepped over.
Yeah. He got shook, though. He deserved that. But ultimately he won because he got a ring. Obviously didn't. But, AI still...
I'm an AI fan.
AI still that dude, though, man. AI still that dude, of course. But then we watched the series, the next year versus the Nets. When they took on
I forgot Jason Kidd went to the finals.
Kerry Kittles,
Kenyon
Martin, Lucius Harris.
Lucius would ball out after he went shit for the first quarter, but after halftime, he ball out.
But Kerry Kittles used to
3-point man. He hit a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
That's right around the time I started watching basketball.
Yeah.
Coming out of Brazilian culture, it was like all soccer.
Soccer, baseball, cricket.
Yeah, so not really baseball. Well, actually, baseball is more like Latinos. Like for some reason, baseball didn't make it out.
Just
to Brazil.
Cuba.
Yeah, facts, man. Shout outs to everybody that's watching us on live, man. Thank y'all for chiming in, man. Feel free, man. Your favorite Mamba memories or call in or whatnot. I'll get the number in a second, man. But I thank y'all for tuning in with us, man. But my cousin, man, you got to show respect to Mamba, bro. You got to, because that man, like, he made me love the game, man. And just being on the court, like mimicking. He's the reason I started shooting turnaround fadeaways.
Did you make him?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Because I didn't make mine.
I added the turnaround. Yeah, a lot of them was though, bro.
A lot of it.
But I added that turnaround fadeaway in 8th grade, man. And I remember in gym class, that's the only move I kept doing. I was hitting. And the kids was like, man, how you doing that?
Yeah.
And it was another friend that I had, man, Shantae Clark, man, rest her soul as well. We were in gym class, and I remember showing her, like, the turnaround fadeaway and how to, like, hit it and stuff like that, man, in gym class. But had it not been for Kobe, bro, I wouldn't even added a post work to my game. But that's the man, like, he was so great. He worked you from every part of the floor, man. And the one thing that I feel like everybody knew is his obsession, how great he wanted to be. Because, like, some people settle for mediocre, and this is the same thing in comedy. Some people settle for mediocre, but it's just like you can tell who really wants to be great. I'm sitting here with two awesome comedians now who are gonna be great. They're on their way to being great because I see the work ethic that both of you guys have in your respective crafts. I've seen Rick destroy stages. I see Chris destroy stages, and it's always a pleasure to perform with both of you guys.
For sure.
Likewise.
So with that being said, Rick, let me ask both of you guys. You know, they say hard work beats talent. Do you feel that that's pretty much the same case for comedy?
I think it's a very nuanced answer because I think on one level, I think your work ethic is going to take you way further than just bare talent. But I feel like you need an equal balance of both. If I had to like put it on a percentage scale, I would say 55% hard work and 45% talent. Funny. You gotta bring something.
You gotta have something.
Not even just talent, guy. You can go up there and juggle and whistle
because you can be
hamburger.
Hell yeah, I saw that yesterday.
You can be an all amazing like writer,
right?
But if you're just a great writer, but you don't know how to deliver the lines you wrote with the perfect nuances, timing, you know, all of it, like more of the performance driven part of it.
You'll fizzle out.
You can still outwrite and outwork everybody, but if you're not working on like that performance part, then I feel like it would kind of at least just hinder what you could possibly be. And we're all trying to be the greatest here, so we're trying to find the best, most efficient way to get to the top there. And everybody's gonna have their own path, but the whole point is to get to the top of that mountain.
That's a fact, man.
Like you said, some people, they just want to settle for mediocrity, and that's just you putting up a tent and being like, it's too cold up here on the mountain. Let's just chill here. And then tomorrow we'll go back down.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it varies. I mean, comedy, like you said, I mean, it's hard work, being funny, talent, a little bit of networking in the front part. But for sure, you got to be funny. Like with me, it's like I was telling Rick off air, I'm like, I like to write. My ultimate goal is to have my own sitcom. But I know I got to do comedy to get, stand-up comedy to get my foot in the door. So, I mean, in due time. So
that's a fact. We got a caller real quick, man. Calling in to the PoppaDon Podcast. Welcome. What's your name?
Ben.
What's up, Ben? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? What you got?
Just chilling. Want to remind everybody to an awesome show February 9th.
Oh, yeah, February 9th.
In Monroe.
February 9th, you guys. We'll be down at Trail House in Monroe, North Carolina. Not Monroe, but Indian Trail, North Carolina, man. So we've got a pretty good lineup. And speaking of, I got spots on the 23rd. I definitely want to get you down there. But February 9th, you guys, we'll be at the Trail House down in Indian Trail. This is our sponsor, Ben, for Freedom Landscape and Lawn Care Services. Make sure you hit them up for all your landscape and lawn care needs. Right, Ben?
Absolutely. And don't forget, we'll be at Lounge 74 as well in March.
Yeah, March 6th, we'll be at Lounge 74 as well, man. So we're doing, and that's also sponsored by Freedom Landscape and Lawn Care Services.
Fall out your mouth.
I'm sorry, man. My mouth dry.
He's torn by Kobe stuff.
I appreciate that,
Thank
man.
you,
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
All right, bro. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. Take it easy. All right, y'all. Appreciate you coming in, Ben. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But similar to what both of you guys were saying as far as the hard work versus talent thing, I feel like in comedy, I feel like it's a lot of people that do work hard for the craft. They keep their head down, they work hard, and they keep moving. There's a lot of people who feel like they are better than what they are, and that's evident as well.
Tape don't lie.
No, it don't. Record that set. You'll see what happens.
Man, it's so funny. I was hosting at the Comedy Zone like 2 weeks ago, and this dude, I think like his second time on stage, he came up and Debbie had him down for 3 minutes, and he was like, I'm funny in 3 minutes.
Oh, really?
And then Debbie was like, you sure? And she's like, Chris, what you think? I said, well, shit, it ain't up to me. Let the audience decide.
Exactly.
Boy, he did 5. It was a long. It would literally felt like 2 hours.
You wanted to leave the room?
I wanted to cut his mic twice within 5 minutes. You know, for us, 5 minutes ain't shit. He was like, I think you're talking about doing like roofing or something. I don't know what you're talking about, but that shit was horrible to watch. But it just goes to show, man, you can't be cocky in this business either, because the crowd in the video will let you know if you're funny or not.
And that's a fact though, man. It will, because you gotta humble yourself enough to know.
Yep.
Looking back at that set, you gotta be honest with yourself. If you're walking around, oh man, I killed this, I killed that, like, you're not gonna kill everything.
Right.
You're gonna have shows where you kill, you're gonna have shows where you crumble.
Yep.
So that creates the balance needed to maintain a straight head in comedy.
Yep.
Grounded.
Exactly. It keeps you grounded, man. I feel like even with, hard work and things like that, man, as we know, comedy can be a fickle business.
And shout out to Don, one of the hardest workers in Charlotte I've seen.
Man,
he be calling me, I'm like, bro, I'm tired.
Man,
I'm wore out, brother.
Man, I'm just here. I love what
Speaking
I do,
of
man.
work ethic.
Yeah, I love what I do, man. So, bro, I ain't even making no noise, man. I'm just out here. I just love what I do, and I love to make people laugh, and to be able to bring my homies along with me. To provide those laughs, because
moving in silence,
bro.
Like a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, that's right, man. You got to, because sometimes you can't let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. And of course, man, I know we all know the more that you talk about what you're doing or your plans, the more that gives people a heads up to kind of pray against you.
Oh, for sure. And people do that, boy.
Pray against your success, man. So with that being said, Rick, how did you kind of get into the whole comedy thing?
All right, good question. I'm
a journalist, baby.
We're like, been waiting on that final.
Yeah, right. I'm like, we 13 minutes in.
By the time you ask me a question,
I wrote a whole dissertation about
this.
You
pull a paper out.
Legit. And this is probably going to be like one of the most common answers most comedians say they get into comedy, because honestly, I was at the worst point of my life. Rock bottom.
Yeah.
So it's like you get to this point where everything is bad, everything, all aspects of your life are crumbling.
Right.
So you have nothing else to do but laugh. Luckily, I was always, ever since I was a kid, I was never the outspoken class clown. I was like the low key, like after the class clown makes a joke, I was the guy that said something low key that only like 5 people heard in the group, and they all laughed. But they all felt proud because they felt like, oh, we got to hear what he just said. The rest of the class didn't. Exactly. So I had like a very like niche like audience already from the get go. So I already knew I had this like defense mechanism of being funny. It's just that it took a couple tragedies in my life to really realize I'm just gonna call everything out, and I'm just gonna get kind of like Eminem, just get ahead of everything out front. I'm not gonna wait for people to I'm already insecure about myself. I'm not gonna wait for people to call me out. Right. I'm just gonna put everything out there in the front. Just be as honest as possible with everything, so you got no ammunition against me.
For sure.
Because I've done a lot of bad stuff. So I've been like a liar a lot of the things I'm now.
What comic doesn't stress?
Yeah, right.
It's right now.
I think we all look guilty of that.
It's part of the game, and a man at that.
I'm just a liar that happens to be a felon right now, sitting right here.
Hey,
well, you got no active warrants, cause here you go.
They coming to get all of us.
Not me.
No, but out of the felonies, I'm an F6, so that's like the lightest felon you could possibly be. So it's like JV just made varsity. Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just made the felony.
It's like
cut.
throwing ice at the mailman.
Yeah, exactly.
It
was white collar crimes. It was illegal cursive. That's what I call forgery.
Oh man! Okay.
Alternate instrument.
So what was that? Now You See Me? What was that? Was that the movie?
No, you talking about
no, Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah. Basically, my life. It was like 3 years up until they caught me. So, like I said, that was the worst part of my life. Like, I have never ever been in a situation like this, and then one thing it's like snowball effect. One thing just ruins the other, and then social life, family life, trust. So that was like a big one. So then I came to this realization where I kind of manipulated, lied to so many people in my life. I hate to say this, but I'm really good at it.
I mean, it's a skill.
It's not something you want to brag about it. I became good at the trait. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put myself on stage in a position where I have to tell people the truth.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
It was
like psychology almost.
Psychology, because now
it's your way of coping with it too.
Exactly. Right. It's cathartic. It's way cheaper than therapy.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I've lied to so many people all this time. The least I can do right now is be honest with them and have them laugh at my pain. Yeah. As long as they're laughing, I'm laughing. We're having a great time in this room. Everybody leaves.
Except for the man on the laptop. That was a funny thing I ever seen.
Oh, man. So what's the story with that, Rick? Because I saw that picture, man.
I died.
No, it is right as I start my set, a guy just walks right through. Luckily, I was standing on the chair, but a guy just walks right in front of me as if a comedy show wasn't happening and then sits to the seat right next to me.
Start doing his taxes.
Starts doing what it looked like his taxes.
Excuse me.
TurboTax. I hope he's using TurboTax.
Hey, look, I heard he interrupted you in the middle of the set to ask you for the Wi-Fi password. What's the Wi-Fi, young blood?
Excuse me, sir. Like, I'm in the middle of a joke. That's fine. But what is the Wi-Fi password?
I just threw him an okay, boomer.
You seen that one church hand?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So Rick, man, what's your out of being a comedian, man? You've been about what 2 or 3 years now, almost.
Two years.
2 years.
I'm
man.
still new in the game. I'm learning from y'all.
Man, shoot,
right now,
I'm learning from y'all, man.
I'm gonna
2
keep
years,
everything
man.
I got secret. I ain't telling nobody.
Now this is 2 years, and I don't even want to sound cocky or anything, but this is just where I'm at right now, comedically. In 2 years, that's just me doing it part-time because I'm working full-time right now with comedy is not in the forefront.
Facts.
So I'm excited to see what the potential is. Like, I know myself, I know my work ethic, so I'm just excited. So when I do that leap, what comedy is going to look like when I'm doing it full-time.
Right.
It's going to be amazing, man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to be amazing. If you think about how much time you put into your regular day job, and then, sometimes you got to get off and go, perform. I remember that one night we were in Atlanta.
Yeah, I remember that.
You got off work and had to drive straight to
Atlanta for a show. Yeah.
And Rick killed that night at the ATL Comedy Theater,
He did good, brother. Yeah.
Rick, listen, man.
And Don won that night, too.
Yeah.
That props to Don.
Listen, man. Rick Campos went to that Atlanta Comedy Theater that night.
All black crowd.
Crushed.
All Negro crowd. Not black. Negro crowd.
When I tell you, Rick crushed that night, bro. Like, I was sitting there watching. Like, I've seen Rick perform a lot of times. And, man, when I tell you Rick Campos was on fire that night. Christian Johnson. Yeah. Everybody had great sets, man. Yeah. Rick Campos came and represented, brother. You had a hell of a set, my man.
Yeah, look, I'm glad to hear that because the drive back was just so sad. So tired.
We all three about fell asleep on the way back.
I was so tired. Yeah, I was just so tired that night. I was like, I got to drive 3 hours back to Charlotte.
Sacrifices.
And it was like what, a Wednesday night?
It was. And you got to work the next day.
Yep.
Sacrifices for comedy, man.
Because I didn't lay down till 4 and got right back up at 6:30.
I remember you telling me.
I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I think I went to work a little bit later that day.
Ironically, when I got into comedy, I thought my social life would get better because I'd be like, I'm going out. I'm gonna meet a bunch of people. I'm gonna, have all
you become more reserved.
I became way more. My social life is the same way. Zero right now. And you know what's worse? I'm kind of fine with it.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it was like Dom, I would say Dom. That's my BFF. In comedy, I'm like, if I ain't talking to Dom or saying you or some of the other people I see out, I'm like literally I'll be in the corner just kind of like waiting on my stuff. Like, all right, is it my time? Yeah, because like. It's some weirdos in comedy. Like, I hate to say it. Like, there's a lot of weird people that do stand-up. But it's some cool people, too. So
yeah, it is, man. There's some cool people that do stand-up. What I can say is the Charlotte comedy scene feels like a family.
Oh, for sure.
Because, we support each other like one, and we daggone show fight like one.
Unlike a lot of cities out there, like the competitiveness that's like in a lot of cities, you don't see that here in Charlotte. And a lot of comedians see that here in Charlotte, and that could be the reason why a lot of people start coming to the Charlotte comedy.
I can see that.
For the support.
Yeah. I can see that.
I've had we were all out there for stand-up NBC the tryouts and stuff.
That was fun.
Remember that?
That was fun, man. And it was crazy. That's why I met Bob Lauber. Bob Lauber is a hilarious comedian out of the Jacksonville, Florida area. And Bob's great, man. He tours. He features for Grandma Lee, and he goes and headlines himself as well. But one thing Bob said, man, that resonated with me. He was like, you guys are so nice. Mm-hmm. Because we were all out there supportive, cracking jokes. There was no animosity. We're taking pictures.
Yeah.
NBC's here in Charlotte, and we had a chance to really just go and audition without no kind of guarantee that we would make it.
Right.
We did it. We did it because a lot of comedy requires you to step out on faith.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, what keeps you guys like going, even though like there's no guarantee that like this will ever be like the life there's no guarantee that this will be, you know, we pretty much have hope and a lot of ambition. But what keeps you guys going, although the odds are stacked against you?
I mean, for me, it's kind of like I'm already in, you know, 4 years deep. So it's kind of like, shit, why stop now?
Yeah.
You know, especially since I found out I'm funny and I started making connections. I'm like, well, damn, it'd be just the waste I built my social media up just to stop, you know? Yeah. So that's my only reason.
Exactly. Piggyback right off you. It's like you finally found this craft, something you're really good at that you don't need any money to do. No startup costs. Right. It's just a microphone and a stage which you could get on for free, and you start honing on these thoughts that you've always had your whole life, and you're like, wait, if I could make this funny, people can start paying me for this.
Right.
It's like a loophole to life, kind of. You just have to work hard and be funny
and stick with it. I think a lot of people, like, as soon as you're ready to quit, it's like the next month something pops. Like, I'd be ready to quit comedy 3-4 times a week.
I think everybody's gonna go through that. Yeah,
and it's like, all right, I got another gig. Okay, it kind of keeps me going. So I'm, you know,
it's like these like peaks and valleys. I think the whole point is just the consistency. It's like what you said. It's like, I've been doing this for so long. I think the longer you do it, the less likely you are.
Yeah, the more committed you are.
Yeah, because you're like, man, I put all this time. You got to be real with yourself.
Yeah,
sure. I put all this time into this one craft that I don't think I've ever put into any craft in my life.
Not even my regular job.
So why would I stop here? Because motivation eventually dies. Motivation is like very temporary, but drive, like, once you have like this purpose of like, you know, it's not even I want to make people laugh. It's just that is the byproduct of it. But it's like, I want to just hone in on a craft and give it my all. This one thing in life, just give it my all, and then just see what comes out on the other end. And a lot of the times you'd be surprised in yourself, and you get this affirmation of the crowd, everybody around you, and eventually your status as a comedian, you know? And also the quality of your jokes speak for itself too. So if you got all that going for you,
you're good to go.
Then you as a comedian, you're good to go. Unfortunately, about most comedians, we're just very like nitpicky. We're like very analytical about ourselves. So I'm kind of like this too. Like, I keep compliments. It's like sometimes somebody gives you a compliment. I always find a way to, you know, kind of downplay, or like, oh, I still needed to do this.
You're gonna be your biggest critic.
You're gonna be your biggest critic, which there's a healthy balance to it, because I think we need to. That's always gonna be humble and strive you to like push you to do better every time. Because how can you do better if you
say you doing this?
If you like the last one, you were like, that was it, that's a wrap, I did everything. You know, like, no, you always gotta have.
I'd rather have somebody else read my accolades than me. Like, people like, oh, write your bio for the show. I'm like, all right, you know, close to the PoppaDon Podcast, doing comedy since June 2016. Like, I'm not gonna be like, you know, award this, place here, trophy this. Like, why? Because for one, it creates the expectation